When we're reading the number that we see right here, we can call it 46.4. We can call it 46 and 4/10, but we can't call it 46.4. We want to get used to calling it for what exactly it is. We call it in the decimal place. The other thing we want to remember too is that whenever we're multiplying or dividing when working with decimals, the decimal doesn't move. The numbers, the place value of the numbers are the ones who are moving. So we want to make sure that our terminology and our vocabulary is accurate. As we've got our division comet divided by 10, hurtling towards 46.4, we have to remember that when it hits, it's going to push the place value of each one of these digits. It's going to force it to the right. So we know that division causes place value to slide backwards. The other thing that we remember whenever we're looking at it is that zeros are signals. If there's 1 0 in the number, then that tells us that everything is going to slide back one place value position. So in this case, as soon as the 10 comet makes contact with 46.4 or 46 and 4/10, we know that everything is going to shift. Everything is going to shift back a place value spot until we get the number 4.64 or 4 and 64 hundredths. Remember that there are 4 slides in this assignment, so as soon as you are finished with the first slide, make sure you click at the bottom and move on to the next slide and watch the video and listen to the audio for each one of them. So remember, 4 slides. First one is divided by 10, then we're going to be dividing by 100, 1,000, and then there are some practice exercises at the end. So this time we're dealing with a bigger comet, and this time our comet is a 100 comet. And with our 100 comet, we know we have 2 zeros. 2 zeros tells us that we are going to take each place value spot and we're going to move it back twice. 2 zeros means that all the digits get shifted back 2 place value spots, which is going to look something like this. The 9 ones will shift over and it'll go to the tenths, and then it'll shift over to the 100ths, and so on. So when we take a look at it, we will end up with 0. Okay. The 9 moves back 2 spots to the 100ths spot. The 7 moves from 7/10, becomes 7/100ths, and the 1 becomes 1,000th. So when we take 9.71 or 9 and 71 hundredths and we divide it by 100, we know that when the 100 comet hits into it, it smacks everything over 2 place value spots to the right, and everything, when it shifts, it gives us 0.0971. Remembering, it's not the decimal spot that's moving. The decimal always stays in the same place. It's the digits change place value. Okay, and finally, we take the biggest comet of all that we've seen. We are going to use the 1,000 comet. And when a 1,000 comet is going to smack into 135.2 or 135 and 2/10, it's going to smack it hard. And we remember that each one of these zeros represents a shift in place value. So 1, 2, 3 zeros means that each one of these digits is going to shift 3 place value spots. So we know that it's going to look like this in the end. We have 135.2. We're going to see, and so on. It's actually kind of messy. I'm going to erase that part and we'll just show it down here. So when we shift everything back 3 spots, we end up with 0.1352. So each 0 represents a shift in place value, recognizing that we move towards the right and everything gets smaller. Okay, so when you come to this part, give the video a pause, and I want you to give these ones a try, and then check your answer and make sure that you are correct. Okay, so everybody pause it, practice, then come back and check. Okay, so check your answers. Make sure that you are correct. So remember, 70 divided by 10 means that we shift place value spots over 1 to the right, and we are left with 7. 9.40 becomes 0.94, and 0.342 becomes 0.00342. Don't be afraid to ask questions in class, and we'll be reviewing more of these as we go along.